Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Movie Mates video. I am Matthew, here with my wonderful co-host and best friend,
Callum.
Callum. It's good to see you again, buddy. It's been a while since we recorded, actually.
I think it's since I saw you. Saw you yesterday.
Yeah, it's been a while since we recorded though.
Yeah, we had exams recently. It was rough, I'll be honest.
Yeah, we've been apologies for the lack of content lately, guys. We have been very busy with as Callum said, exams and whatever. But yes, we're back in 2020 with our first video, right?
First video.
Yeah.
Hopefully this amounts to the length of a podcast. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
I would imagine not.
We'll see how it goes. Just before we start off, over the festive period, we hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and had a good time. And thank you for everyone, of course, who subscribed, watched, and liked our videos during that time as well.
I think we recently hit 99.
99, yeah. So on that push to the triple figures, guys. So tell your friends. But in all seriousness, guys, thank you very much for the support recently. So Callum, do you want to let people know what we're going to be talking about today?
I would love to.
Okay, go.
So
this is your idea, by the way, as well.
This was a while ago. I came up with this idea. Back in just the infancy of the Movie Mates podcast. I tried to figure out a schedule for the upcoming few years. I plan ahead.
He does.
Things don't go to plan though. The further you plan ahead, the further things go off the rails.
Very true.
I planned to do this at some point last year. Mm-hmm. But we obviously got diverted and talked about equally interesting things. So my plan for today was that we talked about 2 pitches each for a superhero film.
Yeah.
I recommend that we do one Marvel, one DC, which we have both done.
We've both done, yeah.
And I recommended that we do one silly and one a bit more serious.
I'm so excited.
Mine are both. One is a silly concept, and one is a silly character. So mine are both equally stupid, but in different ways.
But I'm super excited for this. It should be a bit of a funny one. It should be a comedic one for you guys, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. But I'd love if you guys hit that like button.
Hit that like button and let us know down below in the comments what superhero films you'd like to see.
Yeah.
As well.
And please recognize we're not professional script writers.
Exactly.
Mine are especially shit. One very much on purpose, which I will get into. It is meant to be the worst film you will ever see, by design. So, if you are to criticize us in the comments, please do so respectfully.
Yeah.
With your criticisms and your difference of opinion.
So basically, I think we're trying to start with the silly ones. Or do you
I think we should interchange. So I think we should start with your silly one, followed by my serious one, then your serious one and my silly one.
Okay.
Because I would like my silly one to be the finisher. I'll be honest.
Okay. Okay. So my silly concept is based on a DC character.
Yes.
So I've left my serious one for a Marvel character. I've went for Matter Eater Lad, and the title of the movie, Matter Eater Lad, the movie.
Is that meant to be?
It's just a
parody, yes.
Because I remember I think it was the 1986 Transformers movie. It was called The Transformers the movie. So I tried to.
What's it called? The Transformers the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to parody that, I suppose. In regards to casting, for this one, can't even take it serious. It's not that funny, but Ione Grufford,
Johan.
Johan, yes,
yeah.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. See, I don't know Matter Eater Lad, so I don't know how to picture in my head. But he's great in everything. So
Picture Mr. Fantastic. For the viewers who don't know who he is, picture Mr. Fantastic from the old Fantastic Four films, and I think he's in the British TV show Liar.
He's in Liar. He's in Forever.
Okay. Well-known British actor, I would say. I think he's Welsh.
He is Welsh, yes. So would you have him don an American accent, or
yes, American?
Have you changed his origin to be Welsh? Because I mean.
I don't know much about
an equally valid change. I don't think anyone's like a Matter Eater Lad origin purist. I don't think people will go, oh no, he's meant to be American. You can't possibly have a Welshman.
Yeah, no.
Oh, get fucked.
No, I think his American accent in Fantastic Four is quite good.
Yeah, so people have heavily criticised it, but I think it's absolutely solid.
Bad.
His English is perfect as well. His English accent, I know obviously he can speak the language.
So yes, I've got Johan Grufford.
Johan Griffith. It's Welsh, mate.
Apologies,
I can't.
Look,
I only know that because I've heard him say it.
He's going to be my Matter Eater Lad, donning in the American accent.
Okay.
I've got right Thomas Hayden Church as the Joker.
The Joker?
Yeah.
So you're not. I was gonna ask. You're not setting this in the DC.
No, it is standalone. Both of my films are standalone.
Okay, good.
So yes,
both of your films are standalone because
Yeah.
I know who your serious character is, and I'm surprised by that. But okay.
So we've got Thomas Hayden Church as the Joker. I've gone for a bit of a Joaquin Phoenix age bracket for Joker, so a bit of an older one, and I would say mid-50s. I don't know if Thomas Hayden Church is mid-50s. I'm guessing.
He'd be in that realm, yeah.
So I sort of want this Joker because obviously we've seen different interpretations of Joker. We've seen Jared Leto, sort of the gangster.
Yeah.
And then we've seen obviously with Joaquin Phoenix, sort of the sort of mentally troubled character. I suppose in this element I'm trying to bring in the mentally troubled version of it, and also I want them to sort of be a mob boss because I think Thomas Hayden Church I get that vibe from him.
Yeah, you know, we've seen, as you say, like 3 interpretations of the Joker, sort of. Like, you know, obviously more than 3 actors, but you know, it's the mob boss, the gangster, and then did something occur?
No.
Like, you know, there's the mobster, the gangster, and then there's you know, the chaotic spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's like trying to say he's the man of the people, which we saw with, you know, not Jared Leto, with
man of the people,
with Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger. You know, where they were trying to rise up against what they considered to be a corrupt society.
Exactly.
So you're going for the more mobster type.
Yeah, mobster type.
Have you seen like the Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going for.
Is that the vibe you're going for?
Yes. I've got sort of a bit of a parody. I've recently started Sex Education, as you're aware. Check it out, guys. Good show. I've got Emma Mackey as Harley Quinn.
Okay. Is that just because she looks
exactly like Margot Robbie?
I don't see it. I don't see it
Fair
personally.
Fair.
Except obviously when has her hair dyed blonde. But good show. Yeah. Is that creepy? Like, are they meant to be a couple? Well, she's like 22 and he's like 50.
Well, I'm gonna make Emma.
Sorry, she's about. I think she's 24, 25, but still, right?
I didn't really think. Yes, let's go with it. I've got so.
Well, I suppose, you know, the root of their relationship is that it's a toxic relationship, so you
can
also just add the layer that he's a sugar daddy.
Thomas Hayden Church is a sugar daddy.
Keep speaking of.
So yes, in regards to plot points, what is that?
Cracking open some drinks.
I've got, in regards to plot points, this is not necessarily in order, but just some of the main themes I want to include.
You know, I was thinking like older Joker's thirsty, so am I.
But,
you know,
well, exactly, lovely metaphor there. Emma Mackey as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn is like chilling down the streets of Gotham City, walking her hyenas. And Margot Robbie, who is an actual actress in this universe, comes along and she just kills her with a baseball bat. So that's a plot point.
That's a sick opener.
Yeah. And then I'm getting, you know, both of us like rom-coms, you in particular, so
Absolutely.
I've got rom-com vibes here. And the main plot of the film is marriage, so...
I'm sorry, I'm losing the part where like this is about Matter Eater
No,
Lad.
it gets there.
It gets there, okay.
So, the halfway through the film, once we were developing these relationships, Matter Eater Lad and Harley Quinn get married, and every DC...
I'm sorry, it's a relationship between Matter Eater Lad and...
Well.
Oh, sorry.
There's a twist. Every DC hero and villain are present at the wedding, and we've got Robin as the page boy. So we've got Robin as the page boy, Batman, Superman, the entire Justice League in the front row. I'm trying to think what other wedding costumes are there. Like, is there any other bridesmaids? I suppose we can go with Birds of Prey, and then
Flower Girl, Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, best man. I was probably thinking, let's go with. Let's actually go with the Joker for this one because obviously.
So at this point, does Matter Eater Lad know that Harley Quinn's a villain?
Well, in this, Matter Eater Lad's. He's kind of got a bit of a vicious streak. Like he's got a bit of a villainous persona. So what, you know, during the wedding, the vows are being said, and the dude says, what's the guy who is it? Not the minister, I suppose, says, any objections?
Yes.
And Joker, who is Matter Eater Lad's best man, and is also friendly with Harley Quinn. The Joker. Tears his face off to reveal that to reveal that he is the actual Matter Eater Lad. and Johan Griffith is actually Clayface. Okay, so
where's the Joker? You don't have to get to it right
Well,
now.
well, okay. So during the wedding, the Joker tears off his face. He is Johann Griffith, and then Johann Griffith, who is Matter Eater Lad in inverted commas, is actually Clayface. So Clayface is trying to be is trying to get in with Harley Quinn. So well, so throughout the film we see the Matter Eater Lad wants to be with Harley Quinn, and the Joker. I'm absolutely lost.
Have you confused yourself?
Yes. So basically, Clayface has a fight with Matter Eater Lad, and Matter Eater Lad eats him. Because he's a Matter Eater Lad. So eventually, Matter Eater Lad and Harley Quinn do actually get married, and I'm ending the movie on sort of a romantic sunset. Sort of on their honeymoon, I'd imagine somewhere. Trying to think of famous DC cities like.
Corto Maltese.
Let's go with that.
A lovely,
or, no,
a lovely
Themyscira.
island.
Let's go
Sure,
with that.
Sure.
So basically, Thomas. It sounds weird. Thomas Hayden Church gets married to Emma Mackey. That's quite the age gap, isn't it?
So he what?
Sorry, not Thomas Hayden Church.
Johann Griffith.
Johann Griffith gets married.
Yeah, nearly as weird as Thomas Hayden Church.
So I've actually Thomas Hayden Church here.
Yeah. So there was never a Joker, because the Joker was the real Matter Eater Lad.
Yeah.
And Clayface was the fake Matter Eater Lad.
Yeah.
What was the real Matter Eater Lad's motivation for hiding himself as the Joker?
Because he knew that...
Was he trying to get in with the criminal underworld to take them down or something?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, he's aware that Harley Quinn is a soft spot for Jokers.
Okay.
So he's trying to get in there.
So
he's in competition.
So he was
with Clayface
also
at this
being
point.
a creep. He was also like, yeah, I'm Thomas Hayden Church.
It really has an array of undertones here.
You know,
so in terms
it's
of
multi-layered, multifaceted. You know.
In terms of
Matthew, have we stopped recording?
No. I just put it on a different tab.
Thank God.
No. So basically, in regards to like music and stuff,
yeah,
I've got a bit of a Beatles and Beach Boys theme. I know we're both fans, and also I've got the film to be scored by Andrew Bird, who's one of my favorites. Okay. He's like an indie singer.
Alright.
So I've sort of got rom-com vibes, villainous undertones, creepiness, and just a mix of things. So I'm thinking, if I were to give it a rating, I'd probably say a 15.
Oh, I think you were going to say, like, you'll rate your own film out of 10. No. Like, yeah, it's going to be really shit, guys.
Yeah, no. So,
it's going to be a 15, okay. It's hard sex. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Clayface having sex, that's rough.
Yeah. But, like, basically, yeah, I wanted to try and make it as comedic as possible. And
but with photorealistic eating of people.
Yes. Yeah. I am big fans of all these actors. Like, it may seem like I'm making fun of them, but like Johann Griffith, Thomas Hayden Church is actually quite good, I think.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
And so is Emma Mackey. So that's sort of my sort of silly film. Would you go see it?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there would be nothing capable of stopping me from seeing that.
I'm glad you like it. I was confused myself on parts of the
I'm wondering how long did you spend on each of these pitches?
I would say 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I spent an embarrassing amount of time because like Matthew's a bit more prepared than me. You know, I plan out what topic we're going to discuss, but Matthew actually works on his notes a bit sooner than I. So a few days ago he had his done. I planned to wake up at 7 this morning and start at mine. It was more like 11.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
So yeah, each took me about like 40 minutes or so.
Hey, I like the detail.
They're so shit for that.
Not worse than that, trust me.
So were there any further details on the Matter Eater Lad film?
No real further details. Like I want it to be a film that if it is successful at the box office, it might warrant a sequel. And if I were to choose a director, I'd probably
Richard Curtis.
No, I suppose I haven't really thought of director. I would say
no, I haven't gone for directors.
Maybe
either.
like I would like to see what Wes Anderson could do with this. Or I'd also like to see...
You want a really balanced shot of Matter Eater Lad eating Clayface?
Yeah. Either that or probably someone who can just do a good superhero film. So I'd say like James Gunn, something like that. It seems like his sort of style, so like comedic. So yeah, that's all I have to say for my silly one.
It's a beautiful
Thank
effort,
you very
Matthew.
much. Thank you. And look, I can't wait for yours.
Okay.
Yes, it's a serious one.
I'm doing my serious one first.
Okay.
So I've not chosen a character. I've gone for a team ensemble.
I like it. I like it.
As you know already, I haven't given him further details of the film, but
Yes.
he knows which ones I'm discussing. So for my team film, I've chosen The Sinister Six.
Okay.
This will be a Sony film. It's connected to the MCU using Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Oh, we have Venom in there?
We're not having Venom in here. I'll go through the lineup.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited. Okay.
So this is a Sony made film, but which is why some of the plot is a bit shit. I've factored in that it's Sony making it. It's kind of in a similar tone to like The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
You know, like
I get behind that.
Like as in its peak dumbest plot it doesn't just hit like the peak dumbness of that film.
Okay.
You know,
I get
like it's quite stupid, but it could make a good film.
Okay, I like it.
So my lineup for the Sinister Six is Scorpion.
Love that.
So he was established in Homecoming, played by Michael Mando. Mysterio, who will be like this film is set after Spider-Man 3, as in Spider-Man whatever that's coming out next year.
Okay.
So at this point, it's been established in that film that Mysterio didn't actually die. He is alive, so he's continued to be played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Then the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton.
Love it.
Green Goblin, played by Adrian Brody. So he, in this universe, has been established in Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
So we know that he's the Green Goblin.
That is a great cast.
Do you know Adrian Brody?
From King Kong? Have you seen the Peter Jackson one?
I haven't seen the Peter Jackson film.
He's very good at that one.
Craven, played by David Nichol, who you don't know.
You
can look him up. It's Nichol spelled Nykl. And for anybody who watches Arrow, it's Anatoly Knyazov or the KG Beast.
That's a good cast in there. I can see the resemblance.
I chose him because I thought, you know, Craven is, you know, meant to be hunting Spider-Man because he's the only thing that he hasn't hunted before. So I thought having someone who's actually like in their 50s made more sense because they're actually a seasoned hunter.
True, fair. I like that.
If he could get jacked, I think he is perfect. And then I have Doc Ock, played by Mark Hamill.
That is great. I never thought of it. That's really good. Yeah.
Because my version of Doc Ock is a much more sympathetic character. You know, in the vein of like Alfred Molina, he's not sort of like, you know, the vicious like Russian dickhead from like Spider-Man the animated series. Where is he meant to have been from? I mean, his name's Otto Octavius. To be fair, like why is he American?
Like he tries to bang Aunt May.
Yeah, like he's just like, Peter's dead. Let's fuck. You know, and then isn't there like he pretends to be like a medical doctor and then puts her in a coma or something, and he goes, Peter, you know.
Although, do you remember
release the city to me because your aunt's in a coma, like.
Do you remember that episode where like it's the tablet of time and Peter gets turned into like an old man and then
that's not the tablet of time. In that episode,
it's not the tablet.
It's not the tablet of time. That's a season 5 plotline. No, in the episode where Peter gets turned into an old man, the Vulture is an old man and uses technology to suck the life force out of Peter and turn himself into like a 20-year-old. So he has sucked the life force out of Peter and turned Peter into an old man. Okay. But yes, as you were saying, like Aunt May tries to like slide into his DMs because she's like,
have my nephew's jumper.
Have my nephew's jumper. He wouldn't mind a bit.
Yeah.
And then she's like, ooh, looking good.
She does think a bit like Uncle Ben, to be fair. I suppose there it is.
Yeah.
But
so, yes, so we have Doc Ock played by Mark Hamill, and as I said, Green Goblin and Craven have both been established in Spider-Man 3.
Love it.
So the film opens with the only character having yet to have been introduced is Doc Ock. So Ock takes the role of Alistair Smythe from the animated series. So he's actually the thing that he's working on at Oscorp are the Spider Slayers.
Oh, well, that's a good idea.
So while he's working on one, it attacks him, and that's what causes his arms to be fused to his body.
So have you got Oscorp like a sinister, excuse the pun, like corporation, like secretly trying to take down Spider-Man?
Yeah.
While portraying like a front.
So it's sort of like he takes on the role of like Kingpin in Spider-Man the animated series, where Spider-Man knows for a fact that he's a villain, but still for some reason allows him to continue to be a legitimate businessman.
Okay.
So he's still the head of Oscorp, but Peter knows for a fact that he's the Green Goblin,
Okay.
as established in Spider-Man 3.
I like it.
So this version of Doc Ock is like the one in the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series. So he's like a really big pushover, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Osborn." He's like Leonard from The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
After the incident where he's injured, Osborn convinces him that like he's doing him a favor by fixing him up, like using Oscorp's resources, to heal him. So he convinces Otto that he owes him a debt, which is how he becomes a member of the Sinister Six.
I like it.
So, and it's Osborn uses Otto's intelligence to hatch the schemes for the Sinister Six. So Spider-Man is seen throughout the film. It's Tom Holland, but never Peter Parker, because this is all from the perspective of the villains. So like he's not meant to be sort of like a human character.
So he's not really in it that much.
He's in like two significant sequences, but he's never Peter Parker.
But he's never just like by himself. Basically, he's not really in a scene by himself.
No, it's all from the perspective of the villains. So he's only ever appearing in the villains' fight scenes. Like this is their film. So all the villains are gathered by a Green Goblin, with their base of operations being the old Avengers Tower, which Osborn has bought from Tony Stark in Homecoming.
Love it.
And he sees that as sort of a spiteful joke towards the heroes that he despises.
Love that.
So Spider-Man doesn't expect the team up between all the villains. So in the first exchange that they have, which is in the first act of the film, he's beaten really quickly. So like he's just like gets the shit pounded out of him, and he escapes at the last minute. So then after they realize that they can be successful in taking down Spider-Man but not killing him, they plan a heist, which they think will get them the weapons necessary to kill Spider-Man, and it's never stated until we actually see what they're getting, what it is. So they keep talking about, the item or the asset, which acts as like the big significant MacGuffin for the film.
Okay.
Like the thing they have to get.
Yeah.
And from here on in is kind of like the tone of like Ocean's 11, where like all of the separate villains use their individual unique skills, to penetrate like the levels of this facility that they're trying to break into.
Yeah.
So this is the main this is the main action sequence of Act 2.
Love it.
And we learn when they get there that it's a SHIELD facility. Well, I'm gonna say it's either a SHIELD facility that is run by the Skrulls masquerading as Nick Fury and Maria Hill,
sure,
or it's like the Avengers, like the rebuilt Avengers facility that was destroyed in Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
So it's one out of the two of those, and it turns out when they get there, what they're going to get is actually the spider that bit Peter, and they're using the DNA of the spider to depower him.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
See,
that is good.
See, like this is the point where I'm like, shit, that sounds like something that would happen in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Because all that was about like
I need your blood.
Curing Harry's illness with his spider blood. So like it's kind of like that. It's but it's using the DNA of the spider that actually bit him, which is now like it's in stasis. Because either SHIELD or the Avengers were monitoring like weird occurrences, so they caught the spider and then it's in stasis.
This is actually class.
So Spider-Man doesn't appear at any point in this act of the film. He's only in Act 1 and Act 3.
Okay.
So it's actually the SHIELD agents that they're battling, and then there's like the Skrull army. So like they're fighting back like whoever's protecting the assets in the building. So then we proceed to Act 3, and this is the final fight between Spider-Man and the Sinister Six. They distract Peter while one of Otto's Spider Slayers gets the upper hand and depowers him.
Okay.
So for once in the MCU, like Spider-Man actually has to use his genius, because like in all of these films in the MCU, like he's had to rely on technology from Tony Stark,
of course,
or his powers. Like you haven't actually seen him be resourceful in any way. So he's without his powers, but he still has like his tech that he has added to the suit.
Yeah.
So. And like he knows all the fighting technique that he's learned in his years as an Avenger, because like this would come out in like 2022.
Yeah.
So like Spider-Man 3's already happened, where he's been like on trial for being Spider-Man. So like the world knows that he's Spider-Man, which is why we didn't need to see Peter Parker in this film.
Sure.
So he's using his genius for once, and manages to defeat them. This is how I said to you, where I'm kind of like, yeah, let the writer figure it out. Like, this isn't for me. He somehow beats them, but he's finally actually doing something for himself, which is something that we haven't actually really seen in the MCU, which I think we would have to actually like have in a Sony film, for that to actually happen. Because I think the MCU's been a bit too desperate in trying to connect him to other MCU characters. They've been like, oh well, we need to give him a mentor, give him Tony Stark, and let him make the suit for him.
Definitely.
But I think Spider-Man actually exists better, outside, like in the MCU, but outside of its, overarching plot. So like this doesn't actually connect any other films. Like, the effects of this film don't impact like an Avengers film.
Love it.
So he manages to defeat them and restore his own powers, and then the villains are arrested and they're taken to General Ross, and they become the MCU's version of the Thunderbolts.
Oh, love that.
So they in essence it's like Marvel's Suicide Squad, where they're given where they're villains but they're given government contracts, really.
Okay. That actually sounds awesome. I'd love to see that.
I think it's so dumb, but I think it's fun.
I think that would make a shit ton at the box office. I think that'd do really well. That is good.
Call me up, Sony.
That was really good. So what director would you like to see handle that project?
Oh, see, I never thought about it. I think Peyton Reed knows how to. I thought him. You know the way obviously Edgar Wright was exited Ant-Man because of creative differences. I think if they worked together, they could have like the best of both worlds and make like a really comedic heist film. So like I actually want this to be funny. Obviously like there's the danger posed like of them trying to kill Spider-Man. Yeah. But it's their film, so from their perspective, they're the good guys. So I want it to be as funny and comedic as a hero's film would be. Yeah. So I think having a comedy director and someone who knows how to direct a heist work together would make a pretty perfect film. I
love that plot. I think that sounds awesome, mate.
Well,
definitely love to see that.
Slap that together while you were here, really.
Well, I suppose go on the other serious one then.
Yeah. So
as I said to you earlier, my serious character is Captain America. This is sort of I'm pretty sure this idea is sort of similar to one from the Weekly Planet, because I'm pretty sure James says he would like to see like not an old Cap, but an aging Cap, right, in a movie. That is an idea from James.
There was sort of an idea because there was a sequel to Planet Hulk which had Steve in space like riding a dinosaur and shit, or like riding like an alien creature. Yeah. So they'd sort of done a parallel between Planet Hulk and like Planet Steve or whatever it's called.
Do you remember that BBC show like Planet Ajay?
No.
There's this guy like put on a magic ring and was transported to a planet for like 30 minutes where he was like an emperor.
Where he was king. That sounds dumb.
There's such a good theme tune.
Okay. I believe you. Yeah. You don't have to say it.
I'm not there on it.
But yeah, so they sort of made that comparison, and they said, well, why couldn't there be sort of like instead of Old Man Logan, Old Man Steve? The Weekly Planet had sort of posited that kind of vibe.
For the ending of my one, I'm actually caught between two different plot lines, so I'm gonna need your advice for this one as well.
Yeah.
So my we didn't really talk about titles for the film. What was the title for your one?
Oh, it's just, I think Sinister 6 is good enough. Okay, yeah. Because I mean, like, superhero films don't tend to have sort of like sassy titles, do they?
No, not really.
Especially ones that are made like by Disney or Sony, they're kind of generically titled.
I quite like The Amazing Spider-Man as a film series. I think that sounds good, because it's obviously a comic and stuff. But yeah,
I think they should regret honestly not calling the new ones The Spectacular Spider-Man. I think they definitely should have.
Me too. Or The Ultimate even.
Yeah. That'd be fun. I think probably the most ballsy titled superhero film ever is probably Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
I'd say that, or I'd quite like The Incredible Hulk as a title. I think that works well.
But like, I just mean like that's comic accurate.
Oh, do you mean?
I mean them actually putting effort into making like, them not caring that the title's weird.
Yeah.
Because like, if they called like, the Sinister Six, like, 6 hot dudes, like, obviously that doesn't work. But
6 hot dudes find love. Like,
yeah. Like, no, I'm just like, yeah. Just instead of like, like 50 First Dates, the rom-com just like Oh no, like do you know the film like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? I think it's called, just like How to Kill Spider-Man in 3 acts. You know, like
that'd be funny.
I like, you know, I just don't think that Disney or Sony are committed to like making good titles.
4 tentacles, a scorpion tail, and a guy with a fishbowl or something. I don't know. Okay. Okay, so the title for mine is Captain America.
Instead of like 2 guys, a girl, and a pizza place. It's just
mine's Captain America: American Dream.
Okay.
That sounds like some sort of like homoerotic fan fiction, I'll get to it.
So you say this isn't connected to the MCU?
No, I've got some of the same castings, but they're as different characters. So you'll get it.
It's more homage like.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I've got Chris Evans reprising his role as Captain America, but I say reprising. This is a new, totally different movie.
But are you gonna have this? Is this completely independent of like Disney and Marvel?
Yes.
Or is it?
It's a standalone project. Well, with Marvel, but like it's a.
But is it like? Is it sort of like how the Joker is to the rest of the DCU, where it is like a DC film, but it's just
it's its own thing.
It's sort of in the worlds of DC, it could be like called an Elseworlds film.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, I've got Chris Evans as sort of an older Cap. I'm imagining sort of Chris Evans is about 38, so I'd say age him up 45. I would say. So I'd say I want them to have the beard.
Okay.
So long hair, beard, and this is a bit of a risk for the film, but he never got frozen in time after World War II, frozen in ice, so it takes place in about the mid-60s, so I'm guessing roughly, with the effects of the super soldier serum, is about mid-40s, because I've got like the super soldier serum like wears off, which it does in the comics sometimes, so I've sort of got like the effects of it wear off or are waning a little bit.
So like, is this kind of your like Captain America answer to Logan?
Exactly.
Just sort of like instead of like the adamantium poisoning, it's the super soldier serum wearing off. Okay.
It's got sort of Bucky has died. You know in the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, that sounds brutal. Yeah. You know in the
He dead.
Like you know the Earth's Mightiest Heroes episode for Captain America's origin, where like Bucky like gets blown up in inverted commas in a plane crash.
I think so.
Yeah. So it's basically that. So the film opens with Cap because of the effects of the super. It's gonna sound weird I'm thinking because of the effects of the super soldier serum wearing off. He has bad dreams.
Okay.
So he's having a vision of Bucky and him not saving Bucky in World War II.
Okay.
I've got Emily Van Camp as Peggy because I prefer her character. I know it's weird, but I've got her as Peggy because I really I think she's a brilliant actress. And I think her and Chris Evans have better on-screen chemistry.
Really?
Yeah.
Than Hayley Atwell.
Yeah, Hayley Atwell is like. She's a great actress and she's gorgeous as well, but I mean, I just prefer Emily Van Camp.
I'm surprised you went with like Peggy as his love interest because she isn't from the comics, is she?
No.
So you still want like Marvel's original like film? Wait, like what was she in the comics?
No, I don't think so. I don't think. Like,
no, she must be because Sharon Carter is a character in the comics and Peggy Parker. I apologize for the Marvel purists. I have realised now that I made a mistake.
Do you remember like the Marvel Ultimate Avengers movie? The animated one? Like I think there is an old love interest that like. Do you remember like Cap goes like to see Peggy or something? I don't know if it's Peggy, but he goes to see like his love interest, which is like old now because it's obviously modern now. Anyway,
did you ever watch the 1990s Captain America film?
I've seen it. I haven't seen it.
It's incredible. Like I think his girlfriend's called Jeannie. And for some reason, like she's still alive, even though it's 1990, and it's been about 50 years. I mean, I suppose she could be alive, but like it's just the same actress with glasses and like grey streaks in her hair. It's embarrassing.
We should review it.
100%.
So I've got Peggy. I'll just call them Emily and Chris.
Okay.
Cap. So Emily and Chris Evans are I'll say Cap. Okay, so Cap and Emily Van Camp are.
I like how you haven't committed to either.
Okay, Cap and Peggy.
Okay.
Cap and Peggy, but to the viewers is Emily Van Camp.
Yes.
Are living in Texas.
Okay.
So on like a ranch. So I've got sort of the Logan Western vibes. I've got McKenna Grace, who is Chris Evans' co-star in Gifted, as their child. That's good. Who's probably born in about. She has the super soldier serum in her DNA as well, but not to the extent that Steve Rogers has. So she's going to age quicker as well. So the super soldier serum. I can't speak. Super soldier serum is wearing off, and I've got the U.S. government are trying to replicate Captain America for the Cold War. Okay. And I've created U.S. Agent, who's played by Henry Cavill.
That's good.
So like Henry Cavill, this guy's like buff guy, like he's huge.
Yoked. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has got a super soldier serum as well, but I've sort of went for the nuke vibes of Jessica Jones. So like, unstable.
But I mean, that is sort of US Agent in the comics. Where
I don't know if is he powered in the comics. I don't think he is.
He's actually he from what I gather, he actually got the super soldier serum like off the black market. So he's kind of like an off the books Captain America, but he's actually apparently stronger than Captain America.
See, I don't know if he's as bad as Nuke in the comics. I think he's probably not as bad.
He's not as he's more anti-hero-esque, but I mean he's got his powers through more illegal means.
Yeah, true. So I've got
is he the villain of the film?
He's the villain of the film, yeah.
Ooh.
So sort of second act and whatever, an aging Nick Fury needs Cap's help to take down US Agent who has gone rogue.
Okay.
And is I sort of maybe borrowed the plot of the Winter Soldier with like the helicarriers sort of. So imagine that sort of plot line, but instead of Winter Soldier it is US Agent. So US Agent's gone rogue and Cap has to leave his family in Texas behind to try and stand up for what he believes in. But I've sort of got the main arc of the film is Cap deals with being older and his values being compromised. So obviously it was a time of conflict, the Cold War and stuff. But so yeah, Western undertones with Henry Jackson from the Winter Soldier returning to score it, as well as Andrew Bird as well, who I think would do some like nice Western tunes.
Okay.
So basically the third act, we've got, I say third act, I don't know, but this is where I need your help. So I've got Cap and US Agent meet each other in the second act, have a bit of a fight. US Agent beats the shit out of Cap basically, and breaks. Cap he doesn't have the shield, so he has like the triangular shield, so that gets broken. So he halfway through the second act, or towards the end of the second act I suppose, I've sort of taken a leaf out of the Winter Soldier book. Mm-hmm. So you know the scene where like he's walking through the museum and stuff and like trying to catch up with his life and stuff, and you see like the old costume and the Howling Commandos and stuff. I'd literally just like replicate that scene because I love that so much. So like put that scene in there with like the old suit and the Howling Commandos, and with the shield as well because it's been archived in the museum.
So like this film isn't like one that you would want to come out now. This is sort of like your take on what they should have done with Captain America.
Perhaps, yeah, exactly. So basically Cap, the theme of the film, he's trying to discover himself again, and he steals the costume from the museum and the shield, and goes at it with US Agent again. And this is where I need your help.
Goes at it? Ooh, sexy.
Well, I don't know.
Rated 18.
I don't know if I should end the film by Cap saving the world but US Agent killing him, or Cap save the world but lose the super soldier serum. What would you think would be better?
Well, I guess it depends on the context at which it comes out, because, if it came out now, I would feel that like killing the hero would be a bit tired, because obviously we've had Iron Man and Logan. I think it would be a bit more poignant if he has to live the rest of his life not being a hero. Like, it's kind of a sad end, but then everyone still respects him for how he
See, the thing is, like, I don't know how he would lose the super soldier serum, or like maybe the effects become accelerated or whatever, but I sort of want the main arc of the film to be like, it's not like the serum that makes him, it's like his character, his beliefs. So I've sort of got the film as Cap saves the world, defeats the US Agent who is imprisoned in what becomes S.H.I.E.L.D. basically. Yes. So film ends with see, I don't know, I sort of, my notes are when Cap dies, so in that narrative I've got the film ends with like this sounds so weird, like the film ends with
the shield flying past the camera.
Imagine.
Cut to the credits.
No. Like the film, Cap saves the world but dies, and then Cap's kid, McKenna Grace, becomes the new Captain America.
Okay.
So flash forward to modern day. Well, the super soldier serum, she would have been like probably like mid-30s, I'd imagine.
Right.
The film flash forwards to a modern day where an elderly Steve Rogers, who turns out to be Stan Lee.
Okay.
Which is a theory I know you proposed as well.
Yeah, I would have loved if they'd ended Avengers Endgame. I mean, obviously they couldn't do that because they'd established like who the character is, and he was the Watcher's informant. He wasn't Captain America, but it would have been a nice finality to have Stan Lee play.
Yeah.
Aging Steve Rogers. Yeah.
So actually, this actually could work. So Cap saves the world, loses the super soldier serum, ages normally. And I would say an elderly Steve Rogers, Stan Lee, watches on as his kid who is McKenna Grace, who's I don't know who I'd get to play an adult.
Weirdly,
McKenna
I
Grace.
think
Emily Van Camp.
I was gonna say Emily Van Camp would
Maybe.
make a perfect aged up
Yeah.
McKenna Grace, but then it also makes equal sense that that's her daughter.
Yeah. You could do.
Well, I mean, McKenna Grace actually appeared in the MCU. She played young Carol Danvers.
Brie Larson.
So I mean, Brie Larson would actually be a semi-decent pick.
And then sort of Stan Lee and I'd probably have if Joan Lee was still alive, and I would have her actually as Emily Van Camp's character as well.
Right.
But I don't know. So yeah, the film just ends with an elderly Steve Rogers, Stan Lee just like watching on from a bench or something.
Yeah.
And that's all I really have to say. I'd actually love that if this film was a thing, because obviously it would give an excuse for Chris Evans to come back, because it would only be for a movie, it wouldn't be a contract. But I don't know.
My favorite part about it is, I love when comic stories and Elseworld stories like recontextualize it by like setting in a different time period and changing one event.
Yeah.
So like with Superman Red Son, they say, oh, he didn't land in America, he landed in Russia.
Yeah.
This being that he didn't get frozen, and then seeing what his life would have been like if he hadn't.
Yeah.
That is my absolute favorite part about it. I love that idea.
Thanks very much. Like it is, many comic stories have done it before, where like he doesn't get frozen or whatever. But I just like to see it as well.
Yeah, I think that's like great untapped potential.
I think Chris Evans would do it.
I think this is sort of the kind of storyline that they could easily do in the the animated What If storylines.
Yeah, they could.
Because they already have one planned where it's Peggy that gets the super soldier serum instead of Steve. But I think
that sounds promising as well.
That does sound promising, and I think she's called Captain Carter. But I think an even better storyline would be if Steve was never frozen. Like, how would it be if he continued to fight in the war and then fought in maybe even like Korea and Vietnam?
Exactly, something like that. But yeah, that's my sort of serious one done as well.
Okay.
I'm really excited to hear your plastic one. Give it away.
I'm gonna tell you this is possibly the worst film that would ever be made. I'm telling you, this is the most incoherent piece of shit you will ever hear in your life, and that is that is 100% by design. This is not meant to be a good film. I'm just putting it out there, so please don't criticize me in the comments. This is meant to be garbage. This is meant to be the Batman and Robin of our generation.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's meant to be tonally inconsistent. It's meant to be not poorly acted necessarily,
pretty acted.
but it's meant to be poorly written.
Are the actors well known?
Yeah. I'll get to it.
Funny castings, yeah.
No. I've taken the casting seriously.
Okay.
I've not taken the plot seriously.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
this film doesn't take place in the DCEU. It's an Elseworld story. So this is, there's potential for a recast Justice League down the line.
Yeah.
But in this continuity, he is the only superhero in the world.
Okay.
So we start off.
Plastic Man.
we start off in the year 1990, with the origin of the character, and I've gone with the complete original.
I don't know.
I've outlined it for you because I didn't think you'd be aware. So Plastic Man was a crook named Patrick O'Brien. Orphaned at 10 and forced to live on the streets, he fell into a life of crime. I didn't write this. This is Wikipedia. He became part of a burglary ring specializing as a safecracker. So it's a bit like Scott Lang-esque.
Yeah, I like it. So good start.
Yeah, during a late night heist at the Crawford Chemical Works, he and his 3 fellow gang members were surprised by a night watchman. During the gang's escape, he was shot in the shoulder and doused with a large drum of unidentified chemical liquid. Ooh,
spooky.
During his short convalescence, which means recovery, at a monastery, he discovered. I know you know that. We read Frankenstein. We're book smart, He discovered that the chemical had entered his bloodstream and caused a radical physical change. His body now had all the properties of rubber, allowing him to stretch, bounce, and mold himself into any shape. He immediately determined to use his new abilities on the side of law and order, donning a red and black rubber costume. And capturing criminals as Plastic Man. He concealed his true identity with a pair of white goggles and remolding his face, As O'Brien, he maintained his career and connections with the underworld as a means of gathering information on the criminal activity.
I like that.
So that's the origin. That's not written by me. That is established in the very first appearance of Plastic Man.
In fairness of DC, like Plastic Man isn't the most like serious hero, but the idea of like I've never really heard of a hero but like keeps his ties to the underworld. That's quite
It's quite smart because I mean Scott Lang could easily have done that with being Ant-Man, but I suppose even the criminal crew that he ran with were also not exactly morally corrupt.
True.
So that's where the origin ends. So he begins fighting sort of like D-list villains because he's the only powered character in this universe. So they're actually like there's no jokers, there's no one really serious.
Yeah.
So he's fighting like costumed but like D-list DC villains, and he's mocked and belittled by the community, and he's shunned by society for his weird and upsetting powers.
Upsetting.
So he sort of like I thought a kind of Martian Manhunter-esque storyline where he has to hide himself because his freakish powers sort of terrify everyone. Now, cut to 30 years later, I have written, people be like, what the fuck is this? Because I have fully intended to show in my marketing. The first part with Timothy Chalamet, did I say Timothy Chalamet? I didn't?
No.
Okay, so Timothy Chalamet is in the origin part playing Patrick
Can
O'Brien.
I guess who's the old...
In a moment.
Okay.
But that part takes up about 40 minutes to an hour of the film, so that's enough footage that I plan to completely mislead the marketing, and I plan to make it seem like it's a movie just set in the 90s starring Timothy Chalamet.
That'll get the people in.
And then this is the shocking reveal 30 years later, played by, do you want to guess?
Okay, is it a character with long hair? I'd imagine like Chalamet or...
Yeah,
okay.
so it's longer hair.
Bradley Cooper.
No, because it's 30 years later. This man is this man is 55.
Danny DeVito.
That man is like 75. This man is 55.
Hugh Grant?
No.
I don't know.
That's a good shout,
Who?
but I don't think he looks enough like Timothy Chalamet.
Who?
I have chosen Keanu Reeves.
That is good.
So again, this is not in the DCEU, so there is no Justice League.
Okay.
Plastic Man has been working at a boring desk job for 30 years and has not used his powers for decades. He at this point is pretty much useless. Then Darkseid appears.
What?
This is where I said, this is when the film gets real weird. I have written this like a proper pitch. So Darkseid appears on Earth. Plastic Man is the only powered character in this universe. They have seen nothing like this. This is a shock to everyone on Earth, and he is played by Christoph Waltz, because I think that'd be amazing.
I actually quite like Christoph Waltz.
Oh yeah. So this film is entirely tonally incoherent. It's like the first half is a fun romp, and the second one is like a serious one about Keanu dealing with depression.
Yeah, midlife crisis.
Yeah, with a midlife crisis, and then just a fucking alien showing up. So we see the story of Darkseid, which is to be further explored in future films.
I like that.
He is the ruler of Apocalypse and wishes to further his empire on Earth.
Is Christoph Waltz like jacked or?
Oh, see, I haven't decided on this because again, I said I wanted to take the casting and the visual seriously and the plot not seriously. So I would probably go with CGI and make it, like a good version, like Thanos-esque. But also, wouldn't it just be funnier if he was in grey makeup?
Yeah, like laser beams.
Yeah, and he's overweight and he's like 5'11". Like how old is how tall is Christoph Waltz?
I think he's probably quite short.
I think he's like 5'10", 5'11".
Let's look.
I think.
Any guesses? 5'10", you say?
I'm saying 5'10".
Okay.
Yeah.
So Christoph Waltz is Darkseid. Do you have like any do you have Steppenwolf in there?
No, I don't have Steppenwolf because it's not connected to the DCEU, and I wanted that to be sort of a shock reveal. So Darkseid comes
He's
with 5'6". Yes. Okay, so we're painting Christoph Waltz grey.
5'6.5".
6.5. So we're painting Christoph Waltz grey.
Okay.
He's a little out of shape, and he just has the like Omega crown. So he looks amazing. So it's gonna be fantastic. There's no Steppenwolf. He only brings a small army. So Plastic Man is able to fight them back. So Plastic Man is literally the only powered person in the universe and is therefore the only person capable of challenging him. So Darkseid lays waste to the world and begins terraforming the Earth, similar to Steppenwolf in Justice League. And in the final battle, Plastic Man arrives to confront Darkseid in a less comic accurate but more tactical armor. He bends his body to avoid Darkseid's Omega beams and eventually stretches his body around Darkseid's eyes, limiting his potential damage. This incredibly dumb hero makes the final stand for Earth.
Oh, you actually thought about this.
I've written this like this. And Plastic Man triumphs against Darkseid, and Darkseid flees in disgrace. The world finally respects Plastic Man, and he is showered with praise and admiration.
That is amazing.
It is
love that.
the dumbest film that could ever be made, and it definitely should be.
Keanu Reeves is good casting, you know?
Yeah, I think so. The reason I chose Keanu Reeves is that there was a Plastic Man film in development during the 90s, during his fame for The Matrix. So the people that actually intended to direct it were the Wachowskis.
Okay.
Which I would be fine with them directing this. I mean, maybe not, because they're honestly they're used to a bit more of a comedic romp. And this is a bit more depressing in the second half. It's sort of like The Winter's Tale by William Shakespeare, where it has a comic and a tragic half.
Yes, I like that. Yeah.
It starts with a positive upbeat, him in his prime, and then it's like, him seeing the bottom of a bottle every day. And there's no romantic interest because he doesn't need it. Because he's just, he's a strong, independent man.
Like, you can have it like the tagline, midlife crisis on Infinite Earths, I like that.
But I don't want anyone to know going in, reveal that Keanu Reeves has been cast in undisclosed role, because obviously it's going to get leaked that Keanu is in the film. So I'm gonna release to the public that he's in an undisclosed role.
That's genius, because you've got Chalamet getting the Oscar, guys, the critics, and then you'll have
the horny teenage girls.
And yes, and then you can have
guys,
and people who just like.
You're a bit Chalamet-esque.
Thank you.
Do you see it?
I don't see it. He's way too handsome.
You don't see it? Okay.
But thank you.
Yeah.
And then you could have you could market it as like a serious piece, or it's like a hero trying to accept himself.
No, I'm gonna market it as like incredibly dumb, but only starring Timothy Chalamet.
Okay, and then
surprise people with like the really depressed Keanu Reeves, where where we recreate like the sad Keanu memes, where he's just like riding the subway eating a sandwich by himself.
Is he like at home with the Chinese takeaway, but the takeaway's too far of him to reach? So is that only when he uses his powers? Is that only use of his powers when he goes to reach
you never see him doing it outside of his comfort zone, because he doesn't want to be ridiculed once again.
Does he become ripped?
He does not become ripped. He is very out of shape. But I mean, he's fighting 6'6". He's fighting 5'6" Christoph Waltz. So who cares? What was the question?
Was that is Darkseid out of shape as well?
It depends on how we're playing it.
Okay.
If I take it seriously with the comedic and then the tragic half, then no, it'll be a big intimidating beast of CGI. But if it's also intended to be that shit, I will just have Christoph Waltz painted grey.
I think that'll be funnier. Does it have a end credit scene or anything?
It doesn't need one, Matthew. It's a perfect film already.
It is good. I'd actually love to see that. No jokes. I love that. That actually sounds hilarious.
Oh, it's like 3 hours long as well.
Yeah. Oscar contender, I think.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
What director would work on that project?
See, I think the Wachowskis have sort of the dynamic action and the fluidity of movement, but they're not really used to powers as such.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Matrix or anything? That's the only work I've seen of theirs, but I mean they obviously love working with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, he's great.
So I think that they would be good collaborators.
Big time, yeah. I actually love that. I'd 100% go see that opening night.
Well,
gotta say. But I suppose that'll conclude the episode, right, bud?
Yeah.
Yeah. This has been quite long. This has been good.
Surprisingly so. I thought I'd get through each of mine in about 2 minutes.
Same.
Because I mean, they're fantastically shit.
They're very good. We're gonna podcast.
Oh yeah. We're podding it, my friend.
So yes, in conclusion, guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed our days. In the time codes, I wonder, should we label the film names, titles, or just
just say Matthew's
Classic
Matthew's Captain America film.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Make it easier for the studios who want to poach our ideas.
Exactly. Yeah. Copyright strike them. But like, yeah, no, guys, we really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below, what you think of the film ideas or your own.
Yes, we'll definitely be following this up with
definitely
multiple
part
parts.
2. Yeah, definitely. Hope so.
I think this is a more interesting idea because I was thinking we could do, just general film pitches, but we don't want the ideas poached. You know,
Big
but
time.
like this isn't what we would make. This is what we want to see.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of doing this again.
Me too. I had fun.
I also had fun.
So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and take care and bye bye, guys.
Bye.